Hi guys, what's going on, and welcome back to the episode of Total War Arena. So, what have we got today? We are onto the Tier 6 Barbarian Cavalry, the Gungnir Chargers. So, a very long time ago, when this game was still in closed beta, I did actually play through these guys, and I wasn't a fan. I found them really hard to play. And in essence, my problem with them was, coming from the Tier 5s, which are well-armoured, hard-hitting, fast, shielded sword cavalry, to suddenly going to an effectively unarmoured, unshielded cavalry, sort of has a real shocking change in playstyle. And while these guys get a much improved charge, and that's basically what they're all about, the lack of a shield is a real killer, because it means your missile block chance is nothing, basically, whereas it's 16, really quite brutal. Top onto that, your body armour, 112 or so not even 120, 119. Means you get hit by a missile, you're going to be taking 60 damage per missile hit. Barrage will be absolutely devastating against you, and if you get caught against anyone like a Vengeance or anything like that, you're just going to get cut down so quickly because of the lack of any sort of defensive stats. Combined with the fact that their weapon damage in hand-to-hand combat is pretty poor. They do have decent melee attack, which means they stand a reasonable chance of landing damage, but, really their stats are lacking in everything but their charge, which they do have a semi-decent charge, the Gungnir's charge. It does seem to do a reasonable amount of damage, and that's kind of what they're all about, really. They, of course, they're also losing Mount Kick for dash, which they don't really need. They're already usually the quickest thing on the battlefield, unless it's fighting other Barbarian Cavalry. You don't need a dash, what's the point? So I'd much rather have a Mount Kick. But that aside, as I say, the charge is what they're all about, and they do seem to do pretty well on that charge. They get pretty good impact damage, and they land home pretty hard, sort of in their charges. Of course, you also get a Frenzy, which massively boosts your melee attack, so that means you're almost going to be always landing hits when you're using it, but it does lower your melee defense. But then, to be honest, your melee defense is already pretty poor. 55 is not amazing, so are you really losing that much by doing it? Particularly because then you've got no shield either to assist with that, so I don't think that's necessarily so much of a loss. So yeah, and that was previously my opinion of them, but they've definitely grown on me a lot more in open beta. I don't know how so much anything's changed. I think perhaps my understanding of the game mechanics has changed a lot, and I think I can make better use of the charge now than I used to be able to. And I'm certainly well aware of what I should and shouldn't be engaging. Obviously you should never be sticking around with a fight with Roman cavalry, anything like that. Anything that has sort of any hand-to-hand ability, you need to be getting in with the charge and then straight back out again, unless you can rout them, of course, which does work well. If you can get routing or something, then these guys will cut them down as effectively as anything. And then it's also about trying to make use of their speed to sort of play as almost like a missile skirmisher. You're trying to hunt for those opportunities, using your infiltration occasionally, which you get away with, although most people are well aware of your, the ability of it. Occasionally you can use it to sneak up behind missile units, get a charge off, get that damage in, and then ideally rout them, but if not, just get out before support turns up for them. Yeah, and so I've actually started to quite like them, but I think they're kind of one of those units people seem to either really love or really hate, and I think a lot of people hate them because of how unforgiving they are with that lack of body armour, and particularly the lack of shield. I think is the real killer. So yeah, let's just hop into a game with these guys and see how we get on with them. So we are loading into our battle on DeBerg Forest. Where are we going to go? I think I'll probably spawn just here. I can send one unit sort of scouting up down the centre maybe. We've got a bit of friendly cavalry coming up on some of the flanks by the looks of it. Let's have a fair bit of cavalry on our team then. 3 commanders worth. Okay, not so bad. A bit of range as well, kicking around, so there may be some enemy archers for us to hunt down, and we've got a bit of artillery, Germanica's artillery. Strange commander choice. So yes, we'll just see what we see and make our plays accordingly. Obviously, these guys are pretty quick, so I'm not really too worried about being able to move around the map and stuff, because these guys, they rock some serious movement speed once they get going. So let's just keep pushing down here. We're up to 11. We're on the road. We get up to 13 meters a second movement speed, so you can see they just move colossally quickly. Obviously, we're at risk of running into archers here, so we just need to be ready to dodge. Enemy like that. Obviously, I haven't got infiltration going yet. Dodging. And let's pull back up the hill. Make sure we avoid those last couple of arrows being flung towards us. Okay, so there's archers up here, but we don't know if not, they are defended by anything. I'm not seeing a lot down here in the valley, to be honest. Let's get our momentum going. Of course, we've still got our disguising ability, our infiltration, that we could possibly activate. I'm just going to push down here, see if I can see anything coming down this sort of central point here. Try and use our speed maybe to get right into their base and then try and come back around behind against some of them. Because it doesn't look like there's a lot going on. Oh, as I just say that, there is some enemy Gungnir charges. Okay, let's see what we can do. I'm going to go on with my infiltration, mostly because of the charge impact damage, which is what we want. And with the way these guys are going, I might be able to cut them off. Now, how are we going to do this without clumping up with difficulty, I think? Let's send you there, you there. I'm going to go for an early charge on those guys, which they've dodged. Well done. Not well done for me. Well done for them. Bring these guys in. Okay, so generally poorly done. We've got one unit left we've got to charge nicely. A nice early charge. Let's try and get some good damage in there. Not great. I'm going to go in with a frenzy. Try and get some extra damage in. Battle cry is not really going to help. Is that friendly? It is friendly. That was good timing by our allied cavalry there to turn up. Some of the enemies are routing. Let's get damage on them. They are dead. Good. See if we can get a rear flanking modifier on these guys. Looks like they're going to go down. Minus 40 morale. Excellent. And that is pretty much that unit dead. We've took some reasonable casualties in the process of this. But not too bad all in all, I don't think. We can just finish off these guys relatively quickly. Would be nice. Are they going to rout? Minus 30 morale. Excellent. Which is why it's nice fighting barbarians compared to Roman cavalry. Which are just nigh and impossible to kill in this sort of situation. So let's get all our momentums back online and start to get moving again. I notice there's some slingers here. I don't know if they've got any other infantry support with them. Their elephants seem to have moved up quite rapidly. I think I might go and have a look at them, see if they're supported or not. This is really what these guys are all about in their sort of skirmishing role. It's where they excel, so it's really what I want to be trying to take advantage of the most, to be honest. So let's push down this way. Looks like we're going to be splitting our units. So far so good. It doesn't look like they're particularly well defended. I mean, more for them if they've really not got anything. Oh, what the hell is going on with the camera there? Pull this unit out. And you can go after that guy. Early charge, you're just going to hit into your own units, really. But still, let's get these units chasing. Let's get that unit chasing up after these guys. Send the second unit in as well. Okay, all of them are there now, so let's keep on. Obviously, I don't want them to be able to get away and get out of melee contact because then they can turn and start to shoot on me. And obviously, these guys have a pretty negligible missile block chance because they have no shields. So the missile block chance is 16, so you take full damage. And the fact they have really terrible armor, 119, and no shield armor. So they just get absolutely slaughtered if they start getting shot by missiles. You'll take a phenomenal amount of damage. But called them in this sort of situation, you know, this is just easy points. They shouldn't really have been in that sort of situation. These were probably the guys who were up here. Originally, they decided to push down to try and push themselves up, but it didn't really work out for them. So, I'm then going to be looking probably to head back to see what I can do to support our base once we've killed these guys. If we can just get these guys finished off. There we go. Let's get our momentum straight back again activated. What's the situation? Wow, there's a lot of stuff. So those elephants are going to be really hard for us to deal with. Let's push around this way and have a look. We have got some pikemen. Again, not the easiest thing to deal with unless we can get a rear flank on them. But it depends if they spot me coming up this side. So actually, let's activate our infiltration a little bit last minute. So it may reduce our ability to not be spotted. Let's go for a dash to make sure we get well clear of these guys. Look at that, going to try and catch into me. Come on, push right over, guys. Try not to get caught in them if you can. So what have I got? A couple of enemy Gungnir charges here. It's mostly these elephants which are the problem for us to deal with. Send these guys in. I also want to keep harassing maybe these pikemen. Go for charge. Because if those pikemen are going to present a nice rear target, then they're quite a tempting target. Then again, that looks like a bit too much of a melee, doesn't it? Okay, that's the enemy cavalry dead. Let's get those guys out. Try and keep my multitasking up. And we've got some enemy elite companion cavalry there, by the looks of it as well. We're being chased off by an elephant this way. I don't really want to be splitting myself like this, because the consequences, of course, it's going to make it pretty hard to micro now these two units. But they just charged as a multi-AD spear. Strange move. We have, of course, got these guys coming down here, but if we can get the flank on them. Come on, surely. Definitely going to be frenzying these guys. Just push those guys back up to a tower. I can't believe that hasn't got a flanking modifier. There is 43 hit points left. Come on. Right, pull this unit out. Get out, get out, get out. Let's see what we've got left. We've still got these 2 units of pikemen to deal with on this other side. Somehow one of our momentums is still activated. That's the biggest problem I have with these barbarians, is the level of micro is just so intense for me. For my abilities, I find it pretty hard to do this sort of stuff well. Focus on them, bring it back round. Give them a couple of minutes to stand back up. Try and do the same thing. I just want to get them routed. Pull out. What's these guys doing? Not a lot. Bring them back around this way. Whew, this is a bit intense, this one. We are doing incredibly well. It's a pretty close game, though, still on the score, isn't it? What have we got left that we really want to be trying to kill? Let's just get the rear flank on these pikemen, perhaps. No, although they're dying pretty quickly. It's not too bad. And I can at least now see my other cavalry over here, which is something. But let's see who we can get some flanking modifiers on. Try and throw our weight around a little bit more, because we're not really too bad in terms of our charge in this sort of situation. And those guys have just been charged by friendly cavalry, so let's get round the back and charge into them again. See if we can get the other side of a flanking modifier, maybe. Whichever one we're trying to flank. Where's the other unit gone? Come on, guys, this way. Let's get these guys pushing down here. Can we threaten these foot companions here? It's going to be a bit of a harder one, probably, because, you know, any logic would say they're going to turn at the last second, knowing full well I'm here. But we can do that as well. And now they've gone into hoplite phalanx, which has got 2 implications. It means they go break ranks like that. That was a bit last minute, that was, wasn't it? Come on, come on, come on. Our friendly cavalry's going to come in. We've got to make the most of this. Pull this unit round. I got caught up on my own charge, basically. I'm trying to see if I can get sufficient of a flanking modifier on them. It doesn't look like I can, I don't think. I think I've probably made a bit of a misplay there. Because I don't think it's going to do it. That might be enough. 9! Ugh! They just do not want to be routing. Is that a... No, it's just a presence. There we go. They're going to rout. There we go. Okay, and then we can cut them down. We took quite a lot of losses to do that. But that is quite a sort of unit that we want to be killing in this game. Those sort of tough, sort of relatively high stealth spearman units. You know, tier 6s. Pretty compelling component to try and kill. Although I still think that was probably a bit of a misplay, to be honest. So, I'm going to group my units back up again. Make sure I've got my momentums going. We have now got full access to our infiltration, so let's get that activated and start to see what we've got to deal with. So we've got some full health tier 5 retenters here to deal with. What have we got in terms of team composition? We've got some slingers. Are they Germanicus? Yes, they are. Let's move these guys up and round a little bit. See where these other guys are and what they are. So we know we've got some tier 5 Roman infantry. I'm assuming that's also going to be Roman infantry. Scipio infantry, actually. Still, same principle. Looks like one of his units has engaged. Ah, here he comes. Tier 6 legionaries. Going to be a bit of a tough fight, that. If this unit's on his own, then that is a compelling victim, I think. If we can try and get sort of a flanking modifier, and particularly with the cavalry kicking around there. Or it's these guys here. Grunch up. Let's have a go. Oh, I shouldn't have clicked through that one. Pull this one round, pull round, pull round, pull round. Trying to get a flanking one. I'm going to try and threaten this guy without actually doing anything. No, he doesn't want to have it, does he? I'm going to go for it. Try and prevent. I don't like this. I'm not particularly impressed with how I've played this one. Let's pull you out. We have friendly spearmen, so let's pull ourselves out. try and keep our units alive. We're going to lose our middle unit there. Well, the morale might have actually recovered. Ah, we lost our Minius. Oh, and those guys just routed as well. They probably got feared, did they, by our... No, they're Leonidas Spearmen. How are we going to keep the situation on top? They're trying to pull through now. That's going to be an error because they're trying to pull onto these slingers. Let's just stop them. Nicely lobbing myself together. I haven't actually got a charge, have I? Wonderful. Can we get another flanking modifier on there? Minus 35. That is more what we want to be doing. Now let's try and get some damage on this unit as it routes. The damage potential of these guys actually isn't so bad, even though they have a pretty low melee weapon damage. Actually, 167 is actually very low. They seem to apply it relatively well. Obviously, have a pretty decent melee attack to do, 120. As you can see, this sort of situation, we're getting our damage on. Looks like we're going to be losing. We're going to get Franzi back again in a minute, though. I'm not taking too much damage, considering that we have no shield, so we have pretty low melee defense, things like that. We should really be struggling in these sort of fights, yet we don't really seem to be in any super way. I can't believe we haven't got a boost people's morale. I really wish we still had mount kick with these guys. That is something that you do miss. That was a really nice ability on the tier 5s and on other units that it comes available on, but you do feel like you missed that. Hopefully our slingers are going to keep well out of the way of them. So I've got a couple of options here. I can try and either engage this, or I think I'm just going to go and put a bit of pressure on Cap. Two reasons. One is that I think trying to fight tier 6 Roman or Scipio legionaries, at least it's Scipio, it's going to be tough. Two, oh no, what an idiot! Oh, what a terrible move that was. Okay. Well, that's slightly put a dampener on that otherwise quite decent game. Watch out for stakes. That's the life lesson number 1 with these all cavalry players. Okay, well, I'm just going to set this guys off clearing these stakes if they can. I think he's probably wedged. That's going to take him an absolutely inordinate amount of time. But thankfully, the rest of my team have done a pretty excellent job here. The slingers are really keeping up their damage on the Romans. The battle's really pretty heavily tipped in our favour. Looks like our hoplites here are playing this really quite well, keeping their fatigue down. Particularly as these guys have got Oath Perseverance, they're perhaps pulling out, waiting for these guys' Oath to tick off, because, I mean, look at their movement speed, 0.94. Oh, you went back into a little bit too quick there by the looks of it. And one or two of the units kept their Oath on. But it's still getting more charge damage, and frankly, I think it seems unlikely that these enemy units are going to be able to knock down sufficient of our points in time for this game to end, I think, so we should be fine. We are very slowly gaining some cap points by the looks of it, and we are even slower destroying these stakes one at a time. While the rest of our slingers should be keeping damage on these Romans, which is really racking up some damage on them. So yeah, it should be quite a close game, but definitely quite a good one. I think that kind of highlights the strength of these guys, the ultimate support unit. They're nothing like the Romans, where you can really throw your weight around in situations and get, you know, you can, with the Romans, for example, if you get missile units that are even protected by, you know, another unit of spearmen or artillery, which has got a protection crew, you don't really actually even have to worry about that much, and you can really throw your weight in and just weather the damage for that period of time it takes to kill the missiles. These guys you can't. You get slaughtered pretty quickly. You know, if you get caught against a vengeance or caught against spearmen or anything like that, you just get absolutely mullered. So you've got to be really careful to avoid that sort of thing. But like when we caught these slingers out here in the open, that's the perfect target for these guys. Nice and easy to kill. You're using your speed to get into the sort of situations you want quickly. You know, we saw them when we were right on the other half of the map. It didn't take us very long to move across the map to sort of intercept our target, and that's where the strength of these guys, opportunism words, is kind of where their skills lie, picking those targets that sort of unprotected. But yes, really got to watch out for missile fire though, because, you know, as I say, they've got no shields and a missile plot chance of 16, which is effectively nothing. And so yeah, they are pretty vulnerable for that sort of situation. And obviously points out, obviously I've not got these fire guys fully upgraded. We get, what do we get? A little bit more charge impact. Well, charge impact is just winning charges. A bit more movement speed though, and then we'll gain even more movement speed with the warrior trousers. So we've got another 12% yet to go. These guys are going to be just hyper fast by the end. Yeah, so hopefully you sort of enjoyed this brief overview of these guys. I think I like them. I do like the speed, and I do like the strong charge. They aren't as good tier for tier, I don't think, as the Mounted War Bandit. Tier 5, those guys are pretty epic. But But yeah, these guys are nice. They're just very unforgiving in the event of a mistake. If you get caught by a barrage or something like that, you know, your day is going to go badly pretty quickly. So just watch out for that sort of thing, and I don't think you'll be doing too badly. So thank you for watching, guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Let me know what you think about these guys in the comments down below. Subscribe to the channel for lots more Total War Arena content, and I shall see you all on the next video.